because
Hmm.
I took classes for film school, but I never went to film school. And people
Hmm.
ask me, man, how do you have such a good eye for
Yeah.
your work? I'm like, dude, I watched the best growing up on TV. I didn't have to go to film school for that. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock is one of my biggest influences. And
Hmm.
when I do my horror films, you can kind of see some of the influences and shot selections that I absolutely generated from watching all of his shows over the years and things like that.
Yeah. And I always like that you use black and white. I like black and
Oh
white.
man, it's for one, it makes it look classy,
Hmm.
and color correction is so hard in post, man. It's hard.
Oh,
And
really?
when you're dealing with different nationalities with different skin tones, you really gotta know what you're doing with your lighting. And
Hmm.
black and white covers up a lot of mistakes that
Okay.
happen in post. So, hey, I love it, man. Let's say it gives it a classy look.
Yeah.
And when you do silhouettes, like my last film I just did recently, The Lookout, I use a lot of shadows and I use a
Hmm.
lot of silhouettes. Hence, Alfred Hitchcock. And you can only do that in black and white. It only works in black and white, shadows and
Yeah.
silhouettes.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the looker because I was going to ask you about it. So uh,
Okay.
later on, but we don't have a
No set schedule, no time like a present.
not yeah exactly. So let me ask you because I like that movie. And before we keep talking, anybody watching, go to Blacktastic channel. I'm gonna put a link to his channel in the video description below, and check out his newest movie. It came out at what, early May, right? The
Yeah,
Lookout.
it came out May 9th.
May 9th. Yeah, it's available to watch on his YouTube channel, and this is his first action heist movie because all of his previous movies are more into the horror and thrill genre, but this is the first action racing heist movie. Dude, you were right about the beats.
Man, one thing I um I know for sure is music. I was a DJ my whole life. I saw I paid my way through college DJing. So one thing I know is music. And I'm a visual director, not so much one with a lot of dialogue. So to me, visuals and music are my favorite thing to film because almost like short music videos telling a story. Like a really good music video can tell you a story. And while you enjoying what you're watching, you're actually bobbing your head or tapping your feet. And
Yeah.
it's a subliminal message you don't realize you're doing, but you're like, dude. But all of my movies usually have really good music, but this is the first one I can actually elevate the music because it's not a horror movie. Horror movies a
Yeah.
little bit more slow paced, but this
Yeah.
one, I wanted something to have you on the edge of your seat going, oh, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And the beat to go along with it.
Yeah, no, that was I liked it, and I like those because you would usually you just throw like homages in some of these movies. I remember which movie was like an Alfred Hitchcock Psycho reference, a shower or something. One of the scary movies.
Probably my very first one
It was one of the
was
ones that I watched. I mean,
was
I've seen them all, but I don't think I've seen the very first one. The very first one I haven't seen it yet.
I think it was called the Comforter. There was a scene where the lady was in the bathroom in the shower, and she was also a scene where she was sitting on the toilet that was very intense.
The Comforter. That was your very first one.
Yeah, that's my first horror film.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I've seen Sarah from Sarah
Oh,
to
okay.
now, from
Now
Sarah to
Sarah,
to the Lookout.
it didn't have any shower scenes, but that's the one that was on a boat,
Yeah, the boat.
on a boat, and then
Hmm.
the two werewolf films. Um, the first one had a lot of homages to Alfred Hitchcock. The first, What Have I
Yeah.
Done? The lady in the office walking back and forth. I shot her angles
Hmm.
from the ground up, and she had the really loud boots walking through the office. That was an
That
homage to Alfred
that's the
Hitchcock.
part one, right? That's the part one, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Them had a lot of homages. The second one, it was a love story,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
again, when people did reviews, they always um mention Alfred Hitchcock again. So
Hmm.
I guess I think a lot of my camera angles is what gives them that impression.
Yeah, and then the Lookout, you got. I told you in the comments the Tarantino shot
Oh
from the
man, yeah.
from.
Anybody who's a Quentin Tarantino fan, that was a definitely shout out. That was very intentional. There's another scene where the guy's typing in the code to break into the warehouse, and when the door opens up, you see a shadow standing there. That's an homage to Alfred Hitchcock, the beginning of his show, when you see his
Mhm.
shadow, then he walks into it. This
Oh
one has a
yeah, yeah,
lot of
yeah.
homages. I have some Spike Lee homages when they're opening up the crate with the
Uh-huh.
crowbar. The camera is sitting on the crate, so when I move the crowbar and you pull it, the camera moves with the object. That's an homage to Spike Lee's double dolly shots in his films. Um, the scene towards the end, in the hotel with me and my girlfriend, all you see is our silhouettes. That
Hmm.
is an homage to Alfred Hitchcock as well.
I think you mentioned this. I don't want to talk much because of I don't want to give spoilers.
Right.
But you said something. I think was the maybe director's talk or one of those videos that you did after the movie, after you released the movie.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned how you took a different approach from the general heist movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't want to say what, but you said you were like, I want to do it differently, like not like the typical. I don't want to say not like the typical heist movie the ending. This ends differently.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
most heist films have a formula that they follow.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I think it's a trope that Hollywood uses over and over and
Hmm.
over. And when you're an independent guy like me, you can kind of change the narrative. And I definitely took a different approach. And plus, normally, and being a minority, normally we don't fare too well in heist movies. And so, I definitely took a different approach because
Yeah.
this cast is an all minority cast. You have
Hmm.
five main characters. The four gentlemen are African American, and the one female lead she's Latina. And
Hmm.
so my last two films back to back, all brown cast, all black cast,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've done it again, had an all black cast and two Latinas that were
Hmm.
Puerto Rican from New York. So I try to make Hollywood type movies, but with um, a minority cast and tell a different story from our perspective because our stories don't get told enough. So I figure it's my job and duty to do that.
I know you travel
Oh,
shooting the movie. Did you go? Did you say you went to Detroit
I
for
went to Texas for the last film.
for the
The,
Lookout?
the,
Yeah.
the Lookout. I went to Texas to film all the scenes with Stephanie and all the scenes in the hotel. That was all done in Texas.
Uh huh. But so for Q, he sent you that part. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Because
Yeah,
I know you.
Troy. Yeah, Troy. Troy, Michigan.
Hmm.
Because one of the reasons why I chose him because we've been wanting to work together for a while.
Yeah.
His personality is just incredible on YouTube. And I wrote the script. I'm like, I wrote that script for Q.
Uh,
And he's a great cameraman. He works for Hollywood in the past. He knows what he's doing. So I said, look,
mhm.
my budget, I can't go to Texas and Detroit. So how about if you can film your part? Because it was just a phone conversation. Traveling
Yeah.
all the way to Detroit for that would be kind of like pointless. And he's great. He has incredible camera equipment. So
Oh,
it looks
dude.
seamless. It looks seamless. He knows
Mhm.
what I want. He knows the depth. I want 85 millimeter, 35 millimeter. I mean, he sent me three different versions of his part. That's how good the guy is. Three different versions. And I'm like, dude, man, you read my mind and his
Yeah.
personality. And then he said, hey, need me to edit? I go, man, don't even edit. I do all of that. Dude, he
Uh-huh.
edited anyway. Dude is a total professional. You see him, he's funny and all of this
Yeah.
stuff on YouTube. Behind the scenes, he's a constant professional and he was a blast to work with. So he saved me a lot of heartache by
Hmm.
filming his own part and emailing it to me. And when you look at the film, you thought I shot every single scene, but no, he did that himself.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.